state your name.
It's Ruben Obel.
Please.
Ruben Obel.
Troy Whittemore.
Abraham Galonsky.
Ronald Mills.
Derek Benavides.
Aaron Rendon.
We have a quorum. Please begin, Eric.
Notice of a public meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Brownsville pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Code, Government Code, the Texas Open Meeting Act notice is hereby given that the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, has scheduled a regular meeting on Thursday, August 8, 2019, at 5:30 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Old Federal Building, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas, 78520. One, updates and comments.
Good evening, gentlemen. Just for the record, as a reminder, we're going to be issuing out books for you guys. So if you can please pick up your book and sign off on it before the end of the meeting.
Item number 2, administration of the oath of office and statement of appointed officer for new members.
Stand up.
Yes, sir.
I, Aaron
Ruben
Rendon,
Obel,
do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties as a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Brownsville, Cameron County of the State of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
Now you can, but you
The
have
next-
to raise your hand. Yeah, you have to raise your hands. The next one.
I, Aaron Rendon, do solemnly affirm that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or thing of value, or promised any public office or employment as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation thereof, so help me God.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes for the special item number 3, approval of the minutes for the special meeting on July 8, 2019.
That item has actually been removed from the
It has been
agenda.
removed, yeah.
Yes.
Public hearings. Item number 4, public hearing in action, Paseo Residencial Subdivision Master Plan.
Okay, this is Paseo Residencial Subdivision Master Plan. It is located on the northwest of Robindale and Morrison Road. It is 88.62 acres and it is 323 residential lots. It is found incomplete. It is missing red line revisions.
Mr. Galante, which one is it? Go ahead, please.
Motion to find incomplete.
Have a motion finding complete
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 5, Erica.
Item number 5, public hearing in action, La Virgen Metepec Subdivision Master Plan.
This subdivision is located near Dana Avenue. It is 20 acres. It is 84 single-family lots. This subdivision is found incomplete. It is pending red line revisions and applied advisory approval.
It's found incomplete or complete?
Incomplete.
Okay. I'll make a motion to find it incomplete.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 6 has been removed from the agenda. Item number 7, public hearing in action, La Virgen Metepec Subdivision Phase 1, final plat.
As mentioned before, it is located on Dana Avenue. This phase is actually 28 single-family lots and 1 reserve area. It is also found incomplete due to the following items.
Motion to find incomplete.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to find it incomplete. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item number 8, public hearing in action, El Naranjal Subdivision Section 9, final plat.
We should note that, no, sorry. We should note that Mr. Galante was not able to vote in this. He has signed his paperwork for conflict of interest.
Okay, for this subdivision, it is located near South Indiana Avenue and Mars Avenue. It is 7.725 acres. It consists of 15 single-family lots, 27 two-family lots for duplexes, and it is found incomplete. It is missing signatures on the plat, and it is missing construction plans and red line revisions.
Incomplete?
Incomplete.
Yeah, it has multiple, for the PED signatures as well.
Mo-
That's a big deal.
Motion to find incomplete.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to find incomplete. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 9, public hearing and action, Elm Ridge subdivision, Section 2, final plat.
This subdivision is located near FM 803 and California Road. It is 17.62 acres. It consists of 70 residential lots. This subdivision is found incomplete due to the following items.
Make a motion to find it incomplete.
Second.
Motion and second, find incomplete.
that my father's not participating in that.
I didn't.
Oh, he didn't participate.
But for the Elm Ridge
Oh, yeah,
also.
yeah. Oh, and this one as well? Okay, that's fine. I wasn't aware of that one, so. So Mr. Galante will abstain from this one as well. Oh, we have a motion from Troy to find incomplete.
Second for me.
Second from Derek. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, Mr. Galante, you're back to the real world.
What was missing on this one?
The li-
It's
letter of
missing letter of credit, which is the financial guarantee, the cost estimates, signatures on the plat, park fees, and red line revisions.
And what about the first one?
It was a PUD signatures and.
It's a
construction plan.
signature from PUB on the Mylar, approved construction plans, and red line revisions.
Okay.
Number 10, Eric.
Item number 10 has been removed from the agenda. Item number
Anybody
11.
here for number 10 on your paperwork, then we won't be hearing that this evening.
Item number 11, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235, 2019, 036, to rezone from dwelling A to apartment H for Lot 1, Jenkins subdivision located at 1305 Bernard Road, Brownsville, Texas, 78520.
The applicant is requesting to rezone to apartment H. The current zoning is dwelling A. This property consists of 0.2266 acres, and the proposed use are apartments. This property is fronting Bernard Road. This is a zoning map. As you can see, the zoning that predominates is dwelling. To the east, there is also apartment zoning. This property is located in the Loop Corridor, which has a healthy mixture of residential, institutional, industrial, and community facility land uses. Residential uses should have a density of 4 dwelling units per acre and should primarily consist of single-family dwellings and attached apartment houses.
Excuse me, is it over under item number 11?
We're on item 11 right now, ma'am.
Oh, okay. It's me out and tell me all.
She's eager tonight, because I
That's
talked
okay.
to her earlier.
No, it's fine. We'll be through in just a minute.
Okay, what is staff's recommendation?
Hold on, let him
Well, let him
finish it.
finish.
We have to
present.
finish the
Yeah, that's fine.
process.
Go ahead.
This is the aerial of the property. To the north, to the west, to the south, there's single-family dwelling. There's also undeveloped land to the west, and there is apartment and civic institution to the east. Here's a street view of the property. This is a 200 radius map. Staff supports this rezone from dwelling A to apartment H with the conditional overlay subject to the following conditions: a 5-foot vegetation buffer along the north and west property lines, a privacy screening fence along the north and west property lines, no access through Boca Chica Boulevard, and parking should be located between the apartment houses and the north property line. There were 25 mailouts and 0 written opposition.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing. Does anybody will have any comments other than yourself? Please, ma'am. If you'll step forward, if you please step inside and state your name at this counter, please, and then present your.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Terry Avalos, and I'm here in opposition
Okay.
to change from a apartment to no, actually from a home to an apartment. My property is on number 13. So anyways, to make the long story short, that is not enough space. My house is all of the, okay, just moved it.
You want yours?
The one that's got the numbers. So I'm on number 13. That's where I live. I'm the. And to make the long story short, it's only a one home. It's a residence. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So I'm opposing to the building of apartments because it's not going to be enough space.
Okay.
I mean, as it is right now, we haven't had any major accidents. We just had one a couple of years ago. This is the second time that we come, some of us, and there's some neighbors of mine that are here as well. The same thing was requested in 2016. We opposed it because there's not enough space.
Okay.
Like, as I was stating earlier, if I'm on 13 and it's only a one-level house, three-bedroom, how is there going to be an apartment building there? So I don't see I'm here to oppose that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
sir.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Do you want to step forward?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Maria Henneberg, and I live in lot number 2, next to this lot.
Okay.
And I have problems getting out of my house in the mornings, because there's no place. It's impossible, it seems to me, for an apartment complex. That's what they want to do.
So your concern is that the size of the lot doesn't
Yes.
accommodate an apartment and will
Yeah.
cause more traffic problems for yourself?
And I was here in 2016.
Right.
For the same
A while
reason.
back, yes.
And I had some letters
Which
here
one?
from my neighbor,
If you could give those letters to these ladies over here, that would be great.
Well, okay.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir, please.
I have copies.
Okay, here I am again. My name is Joe Garcia. I live right across from Bernard Street and this lot right here. Right now, the previous lady, she mentioned number 13. No, we're talking about 11,
Okay.
lot 11. Now, again, this lot it's only for for a single home only. It's real small. My lot is bigger than, I live right across the street there. And I noticed, I don't know, the way they designed the plan, they make the lots real big right there on that corner. Right across from Bernard, right there on that other corner, there were some apartments built back in the 60s. That lot across the corner is almost like 3 times as big as that little lot right there in the corner. Now, next to it, where they want to build the apartments, there's an alley right there. What is he going to use the alley for an entrance? That's supposed to be an easement. Also, is he going to build the entrance on Bernard? Again, the property is too small. It's just too small for. Over here where they built the apartments back in the 60s, 3 times as big, and then look at all that empty space that the church has. So it's a nice view, nice area. Once those apartments are built there on that corner, everybody's gonna, so I'm against this plan.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
So I'm also a resident at 1305 Jenkins Avenue, and I'm here to oppose the action upon it. I mean, I don't know, it's number 11, right? So I know my mom said that it was number 13, it's number 11.
And number 13 down here.
So I'm just here to oppose it.
That's fine. Okay, thank you. Is the builder or anybody else here? Yes, sir. Please step forward. You can use that gate, that's fine.
Hello, good afternoon, or good evening, rather. This is our first investment. My wife and I are looking to get into the real estate business, and we believe that this is the property has the potential to be a nice area for apartments. We already have preliminary drawings with our architect, and there is enough space following all the rules and regulations that the city does offer. And we understand that no exit or entrance can be on Boca Chica, it has to be through Bernard. So again, we have the preliminary drawings stating that it is possible to build an apartment complex and there would be no issues. So,
How many units is it supposed to be?
at the moment, we have a proposal for 5 units.
5? Okay.
Yes, sir.
They're like 1 and 2 bedroom units?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And again, there are apartments next to that on a lot.
Yeah, on the other side.
Yes,
sir.
so, yeah.
All right. Thank you for your
All right.
time, sir. Anybody else?
For the record, the apartments, if there's a big
Ma'am,
area.
that, we understand. All right, and you said that you support the change, but how
With the
many apartments would
conditions.
be, with the conditional overlays? And
Correct.
according to the standards, there's room for that unit there, based on city standard?
They're changing to Area District H, which allows 25 units per acre. In this case, the acreage of the property is .2266 acres, so
They could
it
put
would
5
be
units.
1/5 of that, so it
So
would be
5.
5, correct.
Can they do 5 with 2 point?
Well,
what
his
was-
drawing says he can do 5, yeah.
What was what was the ratio, one more time?
25 to 1.
25 per,
25 units per acre. Now, this does not guarantee them the 5 units.
yeah.
It's, the maximum amount is contingent that they can fit it.
Correct.
Compliant with all the rules that multifamily requires, which is parking, landscaping, et
So
cetera.
No inch?
what's the rules for parking? 2 per
2
unit?
2 per unit.
So you can get 10 parking spots there?
Depends on the designer.
You
Can we,
get
yeah, can we
10?
see
Can you bring
those?
those over?
Wow.
This is also considered space for greenery or
Yes, sir. You can put that in, then they can pass it down. No, to this gentleman at the counter. Just hand it to him, well, they'll pass it around, so.
It's also considering handicap, greenery, room for traffic.
What is the size of each of the units? Are they gonna be different, 2 1s, 1 1s?
Just that it's planned, again, this is preliminary design, it's with the HC, so there are variable and more.
105 by 94 foot.
Yes, it'd be 2 and 1. Again, according to, it fits.
All 2 1s, or
Excuse me?
all 2 1s?
No, it's going to be 5 units, some would be 2, some would be 1.
Okay.
The size of the lot. Wow.
All 10 on there.
It's a 105 by 94 foot lot.
Yeah, but all 10 spaces?
12.
Parking spaces?
12 spaces,
12.
including the, okay. So then now, question to the owners, have any of the residents, have they been privy to this information as to seeing what is planned to be put there? No, okay. You can come back up. You can, from the podium.
I thought we were talking about 2 apartments, they're not even, they're 5 apartments. Again, like I said, I thought it was like maybe 2 apartments, and not even. The previous, the apartments that I'm talking about, they were built back in the 60s. I went and, I got pictures, well, I didn't bring. They were built 30 feet away from the curve on the corner of Bernard and Boca Chica. Now, they said, we have a sidewalk. Where's these apartments gonna be, right on the sidewalk? And then to park so
You'll
many.
have the parking there in the front, correct? And then your
Can I
building,
see?
it'll be
Yeah,
a
they're passing it over.
2-story? Okay. It'll be
The
a
park,
2,
yeah, there's not gonna be no yard for them, or?
there's a green area as required by city ordinance, correct?
Privacy fencing.
So, I mean, and just to tell the residents, I mean, we face this often as planning and zoning. You know, we've got an empty lot with people that have purchased the lot, that are looking at developing it. They're going about it the correct way. They're going based on what the city allows. And the city, and now this isn't just, it's not just for this one particular lot. This is across the board what the city has set in writing. And so the predicament, and we are here because we listen to the residents, but at the same time, we have a hard time saying no to somebody that is going about it the correct ways.
Please, ma'am, if you can come look at that picture.
No, I understand,
yeah.
understand. But here, the way I see it, it's like, this is just for the parking lot, and then the apartments over here. All I see is these big squares. I don't see the size of the square feet of how they're gonna be built. It's just, and then it seems here now
But the
they're gonna be.
but the size of each unit, even if the units were 400 square feet, it's irrelevant. I mean, if somebody's gonna live in a 1-1 that's 400 square feet, 300 square feet, that's their prerogative if they're able to rent it out.
And also, when this plan, it's brought up to the city, does the city inspector goes and checks the
Yes.
measurements and everything?
Absolutely. This is, I mean, they're not circumventing any regulations
No,
or
you
laws
have-
that have been put in place. They have to follow the exact same
Code.
regulations as everybody else.
Because these apartments,
For the plans.
these apartments,
You
excuse me,
can ask for the plans and they'll show them to you.
uh-huh, yeah, but just by looking at this, it's
Well,
just.
this doesn't
it's-
show you nothing. It's just a
No,
square.
but what I'm looking at this lot is,
Please, ma'am, you can
it
come
was
up and
just
look at
made
one.
for one single home only. I mean, I just,
But it's
I'm not
within the regulations what the city allows. Ma'am?
Please step
nope,
up.
it's just, it's not right. I'm against it.
For the record, I'm not saying I'm against building, of course, by all means, but I don't think for an apartment. If somebody wishes to build a home, similar to my house, which again, like I said, it's a one dwelling, three-bedroom home with two baths, by all means, release, not a problem. But I think the apartment complex is gonna be a difficulty for all of us that are there, living around the area. That's all I wanna say.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your consideration.
Now, I would encourage the residents that and again, this happens very often, to get with the owners. I mean, these owners have been nice enough to show up, which is rare, and even more so that it seems that they're very cooperative. And so whatever the decision is here today, Mr. Mills, Chairman, would say so, that this is gonna go before city commissioners in their next meeting. But we would advise you guys to get together to keep the peace as whether the project goes forward or it doesn't go forward, either way. But it seems that a good relationship can be made here today.
So the next step, would I need to get signatures from everybody around the area? Would that help?
Well, if that-
It's up to you, ma'am. I mean, it's not for us to advise on that.
All right.
I'm gonna move to close the public
Yeah,
hearing.
okay, I have a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now I need action
I so move to approve as presented by the city.
with the commissional overlay as presented. Okay. I have a motion by Mr. G to approve.
Second.
I have a second. Last name? Mr. Rendon. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Wow.
Item number 12, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235, 2019-037, to rezone from dwelling H to dwelling G for Lot 11, Block 2, Villa Verde subdivision located at 414 Sherry Avenue, Brownsville, Texas 78521.
The applicant is requesting to rezone to dwelling G. The current zoning is dwelling H. This property has 0.1377 acres. The proposed use, or the reason is for reduced setbacks. This property is fronting Sherry Avenue. To the north, to the east and south, there's dwelling. There is also apartment to the north. To the west, there's general retail and light industrial. And to the south, there's also apartment, medium industrial, and light industrial. This property is within the Core Central District. The Core Central District consists of commercial and service-oriented uses with some light industrial that is compatible with close proximity to residences. Residential uses should be primarily single-family homes and have an average density of 3 dwelling units per acre. Here's an aerial of the property. To the north, well, in all directions, there is single-family dwelling. Here's a street view of the property. Here's a 200-foot radius map. Staff supports this rezone from dwelling H to dwelling G. There were 34 mailouts and 0 written opposition.
Just before we move on, last month we had a setback change that we had presented before us, and the setback didn't fix the problem. Will this fix their problem?
In this case, yes, they're asking for a change in area district to be able to build a carport. And area district G is the only one that allows
Okay.
carport.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing. Anybody have questions or comments on this project?
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Second,
Have a motion and a second to close. All in favor?
Aye. Move to approve?
second,
I have a motion from from Troy and then a second from Mr. G to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item number 13, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235, 2019-038, to rezone from light retail F to light retail H for Lot 47, Block 3, Forest North Subdivision, Section 7, located at 5511 Achievement Avenue, Brownsville, Texas 78526.
The applicant is requesting to rezone to light retail H. The current zoning is light retail F. This property has 1.6 acres and the proposed use is apartments. And this property is fronting Achievement Avenue. As you
Which
can see,
avenue was it?
Achievement.
Achievement Avenue. As you can see, the primary or the main zoning in this area is dwelling. To the northeast, there is also dwelling retail and general retail. And to the south, there is general retail and professional office. This property is within the Emerging City Central District. This district is primarily residential and should provide housing options complementary to the adjacent employment hub district. The Emerging City District should consist of single-family dwellings with an average lot size of 1 acre. Here's an aerial.
I need to get my bearings. I don't understand what that big, long, undivided plain is on the left side.
This is
Where are
over
we?
by what used to be Titan Tire.
Okay, all right.
So it's
That's
on the
fine.
intersection of Paredes and
By
Tennant.
Denny's,
Right.
Okay, now I got it. All right, go ahead.
So in all directions, there is single-family dwelling. To the west and to the east, there is also undeveloped land. Here's the street view of the property. This is the 200-foot radius map. Staff supports this rezone from light retail F to light retail H with a conditional overlay subject to the following conditions: a maximum density of 24 dwelling units, a 5-foot vegetated buffer along the south property line, a privacy screening fence along the southern property line. There were 31 mailouts and 0 written opposition.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing. Anybody have any questions or comments on this project?
I so move to close the public hearing.
I have a motion to close from Mr. G,
second.
second from Troy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Action.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve from Troy, second by Mr. G. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 14, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2019-039 to rezone from general retail F to general retail H for Lot 1 in the east one-half of Lot 2, Block 191, original town site of Brownsville, located at 850 East Tyler Street, Brownsville, Texas 78520.
The applicant is requesting to rezone to general retail H. The current zoning is general retail F. The property has 0.2 acres, and the proposed use is professional offices. The property is fronting East Tyler Street. The primary zoning for this property, or for this area, is general retail. To the northwest, there's also dwelling and light retail. This property is within the downtown node. This node is primarily commercial land uses, but residential community facilities and institutional uses are also present. No industrial uses should be allowed in the downtown node. The average density of residential land uses for the entire downtown node should be 21 dwelling units per acre, which represents primarily urban and attached residential forms. Here's an aerial of the property. In every direction, there is single-family dwelling. There's law offices to the west. There is repair services to the east and commercial business. There's also law offices to the south and civic institutions. And to the north, there is also commercial businesses. Here's a street view of the property. The 200-foot radius map. Staff supports this rezone from general retail F to general retail H. There were 61 mailouts and 0 written opposition.
This is, and why the rezoning?
We're going to put a building there. They
Why
want to
the-
put a professional building there.
But why,
After eight.
what would it change, the density?
They're changing the setbacks. They're
Setbacks.
changing the area district to be able to build closer to the property line.
Larger building, yeah.
Yeah, but that's even better in that area, is offices than the retail or
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
it
sure.
is.
Well, it's right across the street from the jail, so. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a public hearing. Anybody here for this project? Yes, ma'am.
I'm here if you all have any specific questions as to the use of the building.
Okay, you're with the owner?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have questions for her? It looks
I
pretty
so
cut and
move to
dry.
close the public hearing.
Motion to
Second.
close, having from Mr. G, second from Derek, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion to approve from Derek, second from Mr. G, all in favor?
Aye.
15, Erica.
Item number 15, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235, 2019-040, to rezone from light retail G and dwelling G to apartment H for 0.2496 acre of land out of the south 20.122 acres of Block 19 El Jardín subdivision in Tract 33, Share 19, Espiritu Santo Grant, and 0.017 acre of land out of Lot 1, Block 1, amending plat of Canyon Valley subdivision replat located at 2732 Old Port Isabel Road, Brownsville, Texas 78521.
The current zoning of this property is dwelling G and light retail G. The applicant is looking to rezone to apartment H. This property has 0.2666 acres, and the proposed use is apartments, and it is fronting Old Port Isabel Road. To the northwest and east, there is a single-family dwelling. There is also light retail. To the south, there is general retail, apartment, and light commercial, and also medium commercial. This property lies within the town corridor. The town corridor should be mostly residential and primary single-family homes. The average density in this corridor should be three dwellings per acre. This is the area of the property. There's single-family dwelling in all directions, well, except to the east. To the east, there's apartment and two-family dwelling, and to the south, there's apartment. There was no street view for this property. We included an aerial 3D view.
Okay.
This is the 200-foot radius map. Staff supports this rezone from dwelling G, light retail G, to apartment H. There were 35 mailouts and 0 written oppositions.
If I recall correctly, they could build an apartment in a light retail G, so why are they changing it to H? An
They
apartment H?
cannot build an apartment in a commercial zoning unless the property was annexed before 1985,
Okay,
which this is not the case.
all right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing. Do you have any questions or comments? You can step forward, please. If you'd state your name for the record, please.
Mi nombre es José Armando Maldonado Sánchez. Traigo aquí a mi hermana para que me ayude a traducir, que yo sé un poco
Puede
español.
hablar en español, no importa.
Sí.
Diles tú diles en español.
¿Cómo?
Dile que lo que tú estás sufriendo. Argumente.
Vengo referente a esta propiedad.
Poquito más alto, por favor.
Acércale al micrófono, por favor.
Vengo referente a esta propiedad que según nos están indicando aquí, según vemos nosotros, bueno yo no, que mi mamá nos dejó la propiedad, ¿verdad? Esto yo lo considero mal, está mal. La razón es que nosotros ahí tenemos 50 años y estas personas que quieren apropiarse de esto, parece que apenas, no me acuerdo si son 4 o 5 años que están ahí y quieren hacer uso de esta propiedad. Se han metido al solar sin permiso mío. Y, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo? ¿Cómo?
Diles lo que te han dicho.
Yo considero lo que me han hecho ellos a mí como amenazas. 2 veces el señor Menchaca, el hijo, por teléfono, me ha dicho, quiero hablar con usted, pero a solas, a ver cuándo vamos por ahí a echarnos un café para platicar solas. No le he aceptado. Y ahora últimamente el señor grande Menchaca me dice lo mismo. Ahora el señor que le mide, Arturo Medina, también me habló y me dijo, estas personas, usted no puede hacer nada con ellos, están muy en la altura. ¿Y qué es lo que me está diciendo? ¿Qué me indica con eso? Y es que ellos tienen mucho dinero y yo no. Y si usted no puede hacer nada, déjelos a ellos y hacerlo. Digo, no, no, mira. ¿Ah? ¿Bien? Oh, sí, sí. También, cuando recibí esta carta, fui con esta persona que viene aquí, que me indicara que de qué se trataba. Esta persona me dijo, usted no puede hacer nada, todo está arreglado, ellos son dueños de ese lugar. Dije, no, yo voy a tratar.
A ver, señor, ¿qué es lo que usted tiene en contra de esto?
No,
¿Qué es lo que tienes en contra?
no, y que sean, como le digo, nosotros tenemos 50 años y ellos quieren apropiarse de estos solares.
Eso no tiene que ver nada que tengan 50 años,
Sí.
sino si ellos están dentro de la ley es una cosa o no están. La cosa es qué es el problema que usted tiene en contra.
What he's trying to say is that they're infringing on his property.
They
That
are
is his
infringing.
property.
Well, if they're infringing, then they would have to, you would have to go and make a survey to prove.
No one was willing to come in and survey because they say that they will not come and survey that property because they're affiliated with these people already that are trying to take it. And if they tell them to, they've said these people have told him that if they tell him measure from here to here, that's what they're gonna do. That's what they told him.
Okay, no, we understand that, and we totally understand. I appreciate it, because I have to do surveys every day. But I guess the question is, if the survey was resolved and everything else, would there be any opposition to apartments? Would he have an opposition to apartments going there?
Yes, sir.
He would have an opposition to the apartment.
Opposition.
Even if the property's squared and all the survey questions go away and everything's finished up, if they were gonna put apartments there, would he not want the apartments there?
Not in his property.
No, we understand that, but if it was all straightened out and the apartment was gonna be built on the proper piece of property, you would not want apartments, okay. That's fundamentally what we're trying to get to.
All right, sir. Understood.
So, okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions?
Are the owners?
Yeah, I was exasperated for that. Are the owners represented here today? All right, sir. If you would please come up and you present anything you would like to. If not, that's fine, but. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, please, state your name and then,
My name is Arturo Medina. I'm the project manager for the
Okay.
property owner. We're actually not gonna bother at all this neighbor's property because our entrance is through the Menchaca Court Avenue. And I don't see, everything is surrounded by apartments. And we're just trying to change to.
yeah. I think the biggest concern they have is that there's a dispute over property, not over what's going to be built.
Oh, there is a little access that Mr. Manuel Montemayor, the engineer, left out when he created Canyon Valley subdivision. It's a little access through the drain ditch that they believe is theirs. That is the dispute.
Yeah.
And I already have all the documentation where, I tracked down since the beginning of that area, the south 20 acres. I made a breakdown, a composite map. I've done all the research necessary to prove that the property is ours, the little strip, what they believe.
And
that
that's
is
all
theirs.
been presented to the Planning and Zoning Division, and they have that on, in their records that reflect all the
Okay,
research you've done?
Bring all the records if you need it.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions? All right, thank you, appreciate it, sir.
Just one quick question. So just for the record, so there's a dispute right now that you can acknowledge in regards to what property belongs to who?
Yes, I do have all the breakdown. I mean, I've been doing land surveying for 40 years, and I've done all the research since the beginning of the area, since El Jardín subdivision block 19 was created. I have a big composite map of all the area where I got all the dates and deeds.
And so you try to clear that up with the residents here?
Well, actually, we have enough evidence that the property was created like that by Mr. Montemayor when he created that deed, and he's backing it up. We got his survey, his meets and bounds since 1996 when it was created like that.
How many units will?
Well, right now, we're trying to rezone we still haven't,
That's a big problem.
come up with a, first of all, we would like to rezone state before starting going into the design. But we plan to build something like next door. Next door is some townhouses. Right next is the owner of the property. He's got some townhouses next door, and we just wanna rezone to get the frontage on Menchaca Road. So we're not gonna go into all parts of the road because of the traffic. The parking area is gonna be in the front on Menchaca.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anybody else? All right, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
So now we have, it's obviously not our decision to resolve issues with plat and arguments and disputes, but how would we be presented with the opportunity to change a zoning if we don't know if the land is even that person's land?
The rezoning process is done based on the deeds that the applicant turns in. Based on what was turned in and then the survey that they submitted, it shows that the access easement is theirs.
Okay. So as far as the city's concerned, at
Right.
least at this point in time, it is resolved, there's not a dispute.
The land that's shown here is based on the deeds
Okay.
that
No,
are
I'm
submitted.
just going to clear that up. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Sure.
To staff. Now, is the staff made aware before your recommendation that there was an issue regarding the lines, property ownership?
We, at least myself, or maybe the previous person who was handling the previous plat administrator, I do not know if she spoke to them regarding this.
What I would recommend is to have another survey, to do it, to make a survey on the
But-
property. 'cause
But
it-
that would be on
This
the,
gentleman's done.
not on the owners of the property. That's a, right? It would be on,
Well, he supposedly, he claimed that it's his property.
but it's been submitted. I mean, he's got, in other words, my point onto that, with all due respect, is that the owners of the property have already submitted their documentation showing that the property is theirs. So then if there was a dispute, I would say, just like on any appraisal clause, would be then the other party then purchases their own survey, and then they're able to see if there's a dispute from there. But at this point, I wouldn't put it on the owners of the property to have to go out and get a second survey when technically they've already proven
Yeah.
that they own the land.
Yeah, no, that's pretty accurate. Okay, did we already close public hearing?
But Mr. Gonzalez, would you be able to survey it for those people?
We might, but I did a survey not too far from, right around that area, and there were some incorrect calls on some of the conflict between.
What if I'll pay for it?
No,
I'll pay.
we won't do that here in the meeting, but, okay, we ain't gonna discuss that here. But does anybody have any specific questions to the builder and/or the complaint? Yes, ma'am, do you have something you'd like to say?
I would like to see the survey because.
Yeah.
They won't even let us survey, they will not let us survey the land.
I don't see how anybody
There was no
can restrict anybody from surveying land that they own.
The city gave him a list, none of those people that he listed, that he called, would have taken the job,
Now,
because he wanted it surveyed. No one would take the job, so we asked somebody else to call for, he asked somebody else to call for him, he said, no, you don't know who you're dealing with, stay away.
Okay, all right,
yeah.
all right. No, we understand. Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am. All right, I'll be honest.
Let's
If
I-
there-
list of the survey.
Go ahead, I'm
I
sorry.
would like to make a motion or see a motion that we table this until some kind of a arrangement can be made as far as the disputes that are involved with this. I just don't think that it's appropriate for us.
Yeah.
I second that.
I would also agree with that, and then, but I think, I mean, our team, the team that the city has in place, that's what don't want to speak out of turn for y'all, but I think that they would be able to assist in a situation like that, where, I understand that, but I'm just saying, what we're discussing right now is tabling this item for next month's meeting.
Or whenever.
Or whenever we would be able to put it back, whenever the city would put it back on the agenda, but you would have at least time to get this resolved, work with this team to get that resolved, because I have a hard time understanding why any survey company would not, I get it, I totally get it, but I have a hard time understanding why they wouldn't. And so with the amount of surveyors that we have in the city that are capable of doing it,
No, we
Well,
understand
yeah.
it. We know the question and answer, which is a hypothetical that he's making a comment. So, yes, ma'am, please.
Commissioners, Dawn Warwick with the Planning Department. We cannot force any surveyors to take a job.
No, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
And we don't have the ability to resolve a civil dispute between property owners. So I need to know specifically what you want to see when this case comes back, so that we can make sure that you have the information that you need.
And I'm the one that made the motion to table, and I usually don't make motions, but the reason I did it is because I don't think we're in a position to make a decision on what that property can be used for until we know whose property it is and how the setbacks are and all that. Because maybe it may not even be appropriate to make that zoning change after the decisions are made. So I think we should come back with some kind of a clean bill that says, we know, or we feel more than confident, that this is the actual setbacks, and then we can make a decision, an educated decision on, okay, yes, we can make an apartment complex there. Instead of now, we're like, well, if we give this guy permission for apartment complex, well, maybe.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and I
Sure.
don't have any problem with that. We
Sure.
just need to know
No.
what to require of the applicant
No,
in order for them to get
The
back into the
applicant really has
process.
nothing left to
Yeah.
do. I would say that the neighboring persons who are in conflict should take some sort of an action to prove that he's wrong. If not, then let him represent next month and we'll approve it. But-
Okay, so we'll put it back on the agenda.
Correct.
And expect that there's some
Absolutely.
additional material provided.
Yeah.
Provided to clarify this.
Okay.
now there was, like they said, a list provided to them of.
We have a
of-
general list of
Sure.
local surveyors, but it's
Okay.
not, it's pulling names out of the phone book, for
But
instance.
he claims,
We cannot make a specific recommendation.
Absolutely, no, I totally
understand
understand
that.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
I
but
totally
they gave
understand
him the list, and he claims that those people do not want to take it.
For whatever reason.
Who the list are, but we can give him another list of other people that I know that will take it.
Sure. Okay, thank you. That's
Thank
what
you so
we-
much.
Yes, sir. So actually, we have a motion to table from myself, seconded by Troy. All in favor of tabling?
that. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 15.
We've tabled the item.
Or
so
number
it-
16.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, sir, we've already tabled it and closed public.
Item number 16, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235, 2017, 079 SMA to grant a major amendment allowing apartments and apartment use in general retail G for Lot 3, Las Palmas condominiums located near Price Road, Brownsville, Texas 78521.
The applicant is requesting a major amendment to allow apartments in general retail G. The current zoning of this property is general retail G. This property has 1.29 acres, and the proposed use is apartments. The property is fronting Price Road. Now, just to make a note, if you recall, this was in early 2018 that it was approved. Since then, Business Plaza or Commercial Plaza has been built, and the city built a street between the subject property and the property to the east.
Okay. Now, why do we have it listed as a major amendment? So you're saying that we already approved this and we're having to make an amendment because
Right.
there's been changes? Okay.
It was approved, and since they're making changes to the approved site plan, ordinance requires that a
Certainly.
major amendment.
Understand. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so to the north, there is apartment, dwelling, there is also dwelling. To the south, there is dwelling, general retail, light retail. To the east, there is general retail, medium retail, and professional office. And to the west, there is medium retail, light retail, and general retail. This property is within the core central district. This district is predominantly residential with a mix of community facilities as well as commercial, institutional, and industrial land uses. Commercial uses should be neighborhood and service oriented with some light industrial that is compatible with close proximity to the residences. Residential uses should be primarily single-family dwellings with an average density of 3 dwelling units per acre. This is the aerial view of the property. To the north, east, and south, there's apartments. To the south, there's also undeveloped land and civic institution. To the east, there is also commercial business. To the north, there is commercial business and single-family dwelling. And to the west, there is commercial business and civic institutions. Here's a street view of the property prior to the construction of the plaza. The 200-foot radius map. And this is the amendment that is being proposed to the site plan.
Yeah.
Staff supports this major amendment to allow apartments in general retail G with the condition that the property must comply with the city codes and regulations as determined through the site plan review process. There were
So-
10 mailouts and 0 written opposition.
So re-clarify this. We've already approved this in 2018.
Right.
But because the city changed the street and there was something else put near it, we now have to re-clarify it.
Well, not only because of the street, but because they weren't going to be complying with the amount of parking
Oh, that's right.
for
Okay.
the commercial plaza.
Understand. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing. I saw you step forward, sir. If you have anything to say, please step forward. If you'd like to speak.
Sorry. My name is Daniel Diamantstein. I'm here with my mother. So basically, the project called for 3 duplexes at first. Now with some changes with 11 additional parking lots or spaces and also a retention hole for rainwater that reduced the amount of space available in the property. So it's not a request for apartments anymore, it's just for 1 duplex. And additionally, the street that was built was a donation my mother made to the city. At first, the request for donation was asked for our neighbor and my mother, but since the neighbor did not want to comply, my mom donated 0.29 acres of her land to alleviate traffic in Price and Old Port Isabel.
Okay. Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Excuse me.
Anybody else?
Very noble of her.
Sorry.
Very noble of her.
Anyone else have anything to say?
You're in support of this then?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I so move to close the public hearing.
Second?
Have a motion and a second to close public hearing. All in favor?
Aye. Motion to approve?
Second.
Have a motion from Derek, a second from Mr. Z. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 17, public hearing and action on ordinance number 2019-235.92, amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 348, Article 8, specific use permits and dealing with related matters.
Good evening, PNC Commissioners. My name is Ana Hernandez. I'm with the Planning Department. So I'm here to present an amendment to the specific use ordinance, specifically Article 8. And just to give you some background, in terms of the specific use permits and what they do, they don't change the base zoning. You know, how a typical rezoning would come and come through you guys for approval. Specific use permits are actually requested to allow a very unique use that is more than likely compatible with the uses that are allowed by right in a certain district. But they might need, additional reviews, they might need additional conditions, and so that's how specific uses come to you for approval. And so specific use permits are actually issued to the owner and do not run with the land, like, changing the base zoning, and unless it complies with certain term limits. And they are also subject to term limits established in Section 348-1421 of the ordinance. And most of the term limits are actually related to, if a CO is not issued within 12 months, or the use is not in operation, or it hasn't started within 12 months, that's usually when the specific use will lapse. And so in terms of why we're doing this, one of the things that we found is that, so once a specific use permit application expires, the applicant has to reapply. Even though the project doesn't change, they have to go through the whole process again and pay the fee. This amendment would allow applicants to come to you for a hearing and basically give the opportunity to the applicant for them to make their case to you in terms of reinstating the specific use permit. And so overall, this will make the process a little more flexible for applicants and, you know, for those applicants that experience unforeseen circumstances. And so, in terms of the rehearing, so the petition would actually be made to you guys, and they will come to you again and present the request. It needs to be submitted in writing, and it comes with a fee, and the fee is just to be able to recoup the advertising costs. The hearing is essentially to take evidence regarding the petition and determine if there's enough evidence to reinstate the specific use permit. And so if a petition is denied by you guys, the applicant may appeal the decision to City Commission. So the same process that we already have for everything else. And so this reinstatement, the reinstatement date will reset when you approve. And again, it will be subject to the term limits established by the ordinance. So basically 12 months from whenever it's reinstated. And so we recommend the approval of this ordinance and which is an amendment to the specific use permit. So you have any questions?
I have a question. You said that the thing is given to the owner of the land, right?
Yes, to the applicant.
And not to what it's gonna be there, right? Before it used to be, if you ask for a specific use, it would be given to you, whatever we approve. And then if it does, they don't do it that way, or they do not do exactly the specific use, it goes back to the first use. But now you're changing it around, then you say that the specific use is given to the owner and not to the land. This is what I don't understand.
I think, so, I'm sorry if that causes confusion. So no, that hasn't changed. So what I mean
But
by,
that's what you said.
by the fact that it's issued to the owner or the applicant, we're saying that whomever applied for that use and was granted, then that's when it becomes, you know, in effect. And so if that person sells the property,
Yes, it goes back.
the specific use
Yeah.
goes away. So
Yeah.
that stays the same. So it's just it's a way for us to differentiate that it's not a base zoning change, that's gonna
What
remain.
is the reason of doing that?
I'm sorry?
Why do you guys find it necessary to make this change? Why are
We're
you-
not making changes to that section. That stays the same. That's been the process
No, that's
forever.
You see, before, if I was gonna ask for specific use
Mm-hmm.
on a piece of land, and I would tell you I wanna put a restaurant, okay? Then if we approve it for a restaurant, and if it stays as long as it stays as a restaurant, and if it doesn't, if it closes, then it goes back to the first use.
Right. That stays the same.
I know, so give me a reason why you are changing it.
She's saying that they're not changing.
So we're not changing that. We're changing the opportunity for someone
Front to
who
appeal.
has a specific use permit that has expired. We had one applicant, for instance, that, you know, they went through the whole process. They had issues with PUB and the plating process, and it caused them unnecessary delays. And so the permit expired, and so now they have to go through the process again.
Right.
Even though it's gonna be exactly the same process. So we're just allowing the applicant with that flexibility and that opportunity
Right.
for them to come to you directly instead of
It's a
going through the
renewal
process again.
opportunity, not a
Yeah.
reissue offer.
So that way the
So it's
specific use, like,
reinstatement.
so
Exactly, but where is the whole change?
Well, that's the main change.
that's
And
the
the
change that
only
they're
change.
proposing, is that if you've got a piece of land and you get it approved for a bar, but can't get a TABC certificate, but then, so it's useless to you at this point, but somebody now wants to come in that has a TABC license
Or it
already.
is finally
You can
approved.
then pass on that specific use to that person, and therefore you retain the value of your land.
That's not what you're saying, though.
No?
No. You-
That's
but-
not.
No.
Oh, shoot,
What-
man.
what's it-
Then I misunderstood then.
No, no, no.
I
So-
thought we were passing on, be able to pass on
No,
the
no, no.
specific
No, no,
use
no.
to the next person.
It's just to allow someone to come back when the permit expires.
So it has to stay within the
And
same
get
person.
reinstated, instead of going through the process, like reapply again,
Only
repay
advertising
the fee,
fee.
you know, submit a site plan and go through, you know, PNC
So,
and
but
city
if,
commission.
okay, so then if it goes to somebody
It
else.
still cancels.
It cancels out, reverts
starts.
back to what it
It can't
was.
go to someone else unless, for instance, you have a bar, it's been in operation, you have a specific use. That's one of the conditions. So let's say if it like changes hands, the property, and the bar is still gonna be in use,
Yes.
the specific use moves with that.
Okay. But if
Transfers.
it hasn't,
But let's say if it's more than, 12 months or more than 6 months, the specific use lapse, even if you sold the property and there's a bar already that is in existence.
okay, so that I'm clear, since I wasn't clear.
Okay.
Then this would be a specific use for somebody that has the land, has already the specific use for it to do whatever they're gonna do
Or
for
it
that
has
land.
the brand new project, maybe
Brand new
hasn't
project,
started.
but for whatever reason, they were held up in delays, like you said,
Yeah, 12
PUB or
months.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So then they gotta come back after 12 months, it's
And do
gonna
the whole thing
expire.
again.
Then we can just say, yeah,
They can-
sure.
They can do a hearing,
Yeah.
come to you guys, and you say, yeah,
Okay.
well,
And the only fee they have to pay is for advertising.
That's
That
exactly, that's
Okay,
it.
now I think I understand.
I'm
So
sorry.
essentially, we're
Thinking.
lifting the expiration date.
That's exactly right. We're allowing them to do
Sort of,
without.
but
Giving us
I
the
mean,
option to
they have to have good cause, but
Yeah.
I think in the past, we've been very limited, like a staff,
Right.
and I think this is kind of giving you that authority to hear, for someone to make their case to you guys and for you to decide.
One of the things, just for your new guys' information, is one of our big complaints has been for the last couple of years, when something comes back and we want to extend it, we want to give them table it. The problem is we do that, the people have to go put all the money back in and do the whole over again. Why? That's just a waste of time, money. People lose interest. This is saying only thing they're going to have to pay for is advertising because they have to run it back in the paper. That's cool. Okay, fine. Now we can make better judgments because we're not thinking we're sticking somebody with another $500, $600, $700 bill that they've already paid once before, and only because it went, literally, we had this happen last year, because it went one day past, that person had to start the whole process over. So
Makes
this
perfect sense.
eliminates
That's
that.
it, yeah.
So that's the purpose of it. So I need a,
Yeah, so that's pretty.
anything else,
that's
Ann?
pretty much
I need a motion, please.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, there's something else on there about,
Yes, item number 18. Item number 18, public hearing and action on Jono Estates to appeal the plat administrator's denial of Jono Estates subdivision.
So this is an appeal to a subdivision that was submitted to the department. So it's a petition to appeal the plat administrator's denial of John O. Estate subdivision. In this case, the denial was due to the 4-to-1 ratio, which is something that you guys have previously seen before. So this property in particular, it's 5.73 acres. It is, so a little bit of background on the process. So the owner engineers, they submit the application and documentation. The staff and involved entities reviews the submittal. And if it is approved, the plat administrator signs the plat and it gets recorded. If it is denied, the plat administrator issues a denial letter, and then all binding decisions are made by the plat administrator. And they may be appealed through you guys, through the P&Z Commission. So for the definition of parcel, parcel means a lot, an undivided block, or reserve area. So according to section 332-166 general standards, the length of a lot cannot exceed 4 times the width, as shown here in the example. So this is the property that is being platted. The width of this property is 186.16 feet. The net length, excluding easements, is 980.84 feet. So based on the width dimensions, the maximum allowable length would be 744.64 feet. So we would just be multiplying the 186.16 times 4. And the actual length therefore exceeds the maximum allowable length by 236.2 feet. So we are seeking your opinion to, or the applicant is seeking the appeal of this decision.
can we see the plat of the property?
It
Last
is
month we had the same thing.
allowable, Right?
What's that?
It is allowable by that formula right there?
Yeah, what happened is it's exceeding, the length is too long by 200 feet, so they need our permission to approve it, or we stick with the standard policy of 4-to-1 and we disapprove it. So do we have anybody here who wants to present something? Yes, sir, please step forward.
Is this over there by Titan?
No, this is over by 1732, I think.
Something very similar to that was last meeting.
Last month, yes. Mhm.
The what?
Good afternoon. My
Howard?
name is Edmundo Gonzalez, and we are the engineers, surveyors that are helping the owners to do a subdivision plat there. It is very simple. The owner wants to buy 2 pieces of property that are available for sale and create 1 lot out of the 2 lots. So what you see in the plat is 2 separate lots that are being put together. So basically, we're reducing that, the front.
The variable, right,
Yes, the front to the side ratio considerably by doing that.
right.
I had several points that I wanted to bring up. For one, on the south side of that property, there's a lot of land, part of that property that cannot be used because it's in the recycle. The other thing that I was going to point out is that comes out of the Paredes partition of the Espiritu Santo grant. When that property was originally platted, that road, which Hugh Emerson or whatever, I think they've changed names several times, that was a 40-foot road. Now they want a 120-foot road. So a lot of the frontage is going to be given up
Deteriorated,
in compliance with the MPO recommended 120-foot width instead of the original 40-foot width. Currently, there's 3 homes that have lived there, and I looked back at some of the old aerial photographs that were available in my office, and believe it or not, those 3 homes have been there since 1955. So three separate single-family homes on that property. The owner wants to put it together to have 1 estate-type home. If you look, once you reduce of course, if you look on one side and look at the other side, the ratios are different because the lengths are considerably different. But if you look on the short side, which helps us, then I'll grant that. By the time you use your net usable area for that lot, it goes back to about 1.1 to 5.5. From originally you had like 14 to 1 was the ratio, and that's if you look at each lot
Right, each lot
individually.
separately, right.
So we are basically doing a 5 3/4 acre piece of property for 1 home.
Right.
The configuration of those lots has been there since 1947. So, and that's 2 lots and 3 homes in those 2 lots. So I feel like it's not a very unreasonable request for the owner to have an estate-size property with an estate-type home for those 5 3/4 acres.
So
Any questions?
there's 3 homes on this property right now, or?
There's three homes. They're gonna knock all 3 homes down and build 1.
Build 1 home. Okay, awesome. Thank you, sir.
I do have a comment on the previous, one of the previous items when you were talking about the survey. We did survey 1 piece of property not too far from there. And these are some old surveys that are out there. And I think you all know what meets and bounds is. You start in one point, you go a bearing, and then you go to another point, to the place of beginning. Well, in the one that we did, we came about 50, when you calculate it, even just the calculation was about 15 feet from being a closed traverse. So there are some errors that happen.
Some of it.
Yeah, we expected that.
And it's a little scary on some of these old surveys. Sometimes, as a surveyor, you can figure out by when you can't close
Right.
by calculation.
Right.
You look at that angle, and then you look at the traverse points, and you figure, well, maybe that error helps you figure out where the offsets are. In that particular one that I was thinking about, we're very fortunate because in one of the legs of the property, there was a fence, and there was no dispute with the owner, the adjoiner.
Right.
So we were able to say, you know, the distance called was, let's say, 115 feet, but it really was 100 feet.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, that's technical.
Thank
Sure.
you.
For the new people, just say, wait. Okay, have a motion to close? And a second from Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
For the new guys, just kind of give you an idea what this is about, is there are policies that are written that specifically state that if these certain guidelines or measurements are not met, that the plat administrator has to deny. They just have to, okay? So in this case, it's a 14-to-1, which means it's 700 and some odd feet of space is the maximum they can sign off on. If it's bigger than that, they're just not allowed, okay? So then it has to come to us, and we have to decide, is there a reason? So, as he said, you only got 3 houses on almost 6 acres of land, 5 3/4 acres of land, plus I happen to be one of these people that suffer from the problem that is in that picture, is part of my property is underwater. It's in the Resaca, so how much of that water, of that acreage is underwater? Probably a pretty good chunk of that acreage is underwater. So reality is you're never gonna use it, and it's no benefit to the developer. So we have to decide based on the information we're provided, if we're going to agree with the plat administrator, which they're required to say no, or can we say, you know what, we're gonna grant you a variance. So that's what the vote will be. The vote will be to determine that yes, you can override the plat administrator and proceed. So that's what this is about. So I need a motion from somebody about whether we want to allow it to stay or to stay with the plat administrator.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to allow, well, so then what would that be on as far as on the,
You're making a
to
motion.
reverse the denial?
There you go. Reverse the denial. That is correct.
That's my motion.
Have a motion to reverse the denial? Mr. G seconds it.
So when do we approve it?
We are, we have to deny the plat administrator. Right. We have a motion to override the plat administrator. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, Erica.
Item number 19, public hearing and action on D-19-012-G to appeal the denial of a determination certificate for 2.32 acres of land, more or less out of a certain 2.73 acre tract in a certain 11.32 acre tract in Share 12, Espiritu Santo Grant, Cameron County, Texas, located near the corner of Calle Chachalaca and Ruben Torres Boulevard, Brownsville, Texas 78520.
So the applicant is looking for an appeal from the decision of the plat administrator's decision to deny this determination certificate. So this is a 2.32 acre tract of land. So a little bit of a background, the owner submits the application, staff reviews. If it is approved, the plat administrator issues a determination certificate. And if denied, just as it was for the subdivision, you have the authority to override that decision. So the authority is from the Texas Local Government Code in section 332-228. So there's 2 categories of determination certificates. There's, which outlines requirements for the grandfather exception, and this gives the plat administrator the authority to issue determination certificates. So some of the exceptions, the boundaries of such parcel have to be fully described by 1 or more title transfer documents executed before September 1st, 1995. On or after such date, there have been no executions of title transfer instruments such that these instruments could subject such parcel to boundary alterations. So basically what this means, between 1995 and present day, there cannot be any alterations to the configuration of the property. So a completed application will consist of 2 signed and sealed original surveys, the title report up to 30 days old, a tax certificate, owner and representative documents, along with the deeds to be able to verify. So this is the subject property over on Ruben Torres and Chachalaca Street. So the denial was based on the fact that there were not enough instruments to verify that that there were no partitions made between this time.
Okay. So basically, there's no evidence that the transactions expired during that time period, before that? Okay. Yes, sir, please step forward. By the way, this is a public hearing.
Evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Frank Wood. I represent the applicant. This property was part of a larger tract of land, about 11 acres. It was the old Wilson property that was out there on 802, if anyone remembers that. Alice Wilson and Vance Wilson. Next to it is Chachalaca Street right there. He owned the 11 acres adjoining and basically sold all that property off before 1995. Well before 1995. He acquired the property, I think, in 72. What remained was his property that he had his house on, and he had a tract up front that he is the subject tract that he was going to use for commercial development, never did. That property was divided by himself, for himself. My client bought all the property left. It's the onion, the peeling of the onion. So what happens is, when my client gets a deed, it's not the same description because that description doesn't exist. It's a new description based on the surveys of the tracts as they were. So that's where we're here, and that's the deed history. You know, y'all all know that the purpose of being able to grant variances like this is to use some discretion, and that's what we're asking for. I mean, the laws that were put in place to stop these types of subdivisions by meets and bounds was to stop colonias.
Right.
This is clearly not a colonia. It's on 802. It has water, it has sewer, it has everything you need to start development. In fact, my client's already got plans to do that. And in fact, he went to the city commission already in October of 2016 and got the zoning changed. So the city's already approved a zoning change on property they're now saying he can't use.
Right.
So we're here to hopefully get you guys to understand and let us go forward with this project. It's going to be a nice little office, professional, 3-building center, and you know, we're just asking for a little help in the use of some reasonableness in getting this done.
Okay.
What is the projected project there?
It's a 3-building office, professional type office, light retail. It's 4CG, I believe, 4GC.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I suppose to close the public hearing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a motion to close public?
Second.
Have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
And gentlemen, you guys, again, similar situation, they're required to do that. Now it's our decision whether or not we want to allow it to stay or to go ahead and tell them to issue the certificate. It's a different terminology, but it's basically the same issue, so.
I so move to approve it.
I have a motion from Mr. G, a second from Ruben. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carried.
Good deal.
Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Item number 20, public hearing and action on a rule amending Z1C concerning the Planning and Zoning Commission's official calendar for October 2019 through September 2020.
We don't have a copy of that, sir. No. Yeah, if you don't have it, we can just table it and do it next month. It's okay. Ain't gonna hurt our feelings. What's that? Again, there's no sweat to us. We can always table it and do it next month. It's not gonna hurt our feelings, so.
Yes.
Because October 1 is the first date of the year, so we're fine until October 1. so. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Again, it's not a, you
It's
know.
all good.
Yeah.
Motion to table.
We forgive Erin.
Motion to
We
table?
love her.
We have a motion to table from there. A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Ladies and
to
gentlemen, we are adjourned.
Second.